Okay, so if you want to use a trigger in the situation, obviously there's multiple ways you can do this. I would probably use like a grabbable that you can just press a button to scroll through. But since you're currently using a trigger, we'll do the trigger, but you can do the same lines of script. Basically, we have when trigger is entered by player. We're gonna go ahead and attach the script. Okay. So what we're gonna do is create a variable for to be able to scroll through each one. So we're going to create an iterator. We can call it I, doesn't matter. So every time you put your hand in the trigger, we're going to set I to I plus one because we want it to scroll through one at a time, right? So do I, go to values, grab number input. Sorry if this is a little fast. My other video that I'm doing is like an hour long, so because I go through and explain everything. But since this is kind of like a quick thing, okay, so now that that's set, what we're going to do is we're going to start at negative, leave this at -1 because we're going to create a list of 1, 2, 3, 4 items, right? Okay, so what we'll do is we will get out a, okay, here we'll create the objects actually. So this will be A, B, C, D. So we have our 4 objects. And we can do a list. We can put these into a list and iterate through the list. We can do if equals and then um, do that as well. That might be simpler um, for beginners, but we'll do both real quick. Okay, so we're gonna say if equals. So do if I equals, and then we will start at 0. Then we'll just duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. So we're gonna do 0, 1, 2, and 3. And the reason we're starting at 0 is because if we were to do a list version of this, the list starts at 0. So even though we're doing, um, yeah, even though we're doing like if statements and just kind of like manually doing this, um, we're just gonna go ahead and keep it at 0 for now. So basically, anytime I press a trigger, we're gonna change the number, and then also I'm gonna put here if I is equal to 4, because we don't have a 4 and we don't want it to keep counting up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I gets to 4, we want to set I, we'll put this at the top. We want to set I to 0. So we're going to kind of scroll back around. So it's going to go, it starts at -1, right? So when we touch a trigger, we go to 0. So if I equals 4, we're going to set I to 0. I thought I just did that. What's going on here? I apologize. Okay, so like that. If I, but when we start, it's gonna equal 0 to begin with. So that would be this block. And then when we touch the trigger again, it's gonna equal 1. Then when we touch the trigger again, it's gonna equal 2. When we touch the trigger again, 3. And then when we touch it again, it's equal 4. When it equals 4, we're gonna set it to 0, and then it's gonna execute this because I equals 0 again. So it's gonna go through the loop. So now we gotta put an action. So we can do set object color, and then here we can just put green. Okay, we set object color to green. We want this first one, put a variables. We're going to put A, just like that. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to put B, duplicate it, put C. And like I said, we can do a list instead, but just for the sake of keeping it super simple without going into a list, we'll do this. So now um, every time I scroll through, the next one will turn green. Obviously, by the end of the day, we don't, you might, like in your example, you might not want all of them to stay green. You just want the one that you're highlighting to stay green. So we'll do that in a second. But for right now, let's go ahead and connect these four to just kind of show you how it works. So that's A, B, C, and D. All right, cool. So now if I go into preview, are we playing world? We are. Okay, so I didn't even put where my trigger is. All right, so there you go. I touched it too many times. All right, so they will all light up um, every time you touch it. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit cleaner. And let's put this here. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we don't, if you don't want all of them to light up, and also let's just go ahead and try this again because we might need to put a cooldown. So if I put my hand once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times, that's fine. Okay, so that's to do that. And it could be good in a sense if you want to show the progression. But if you don't want the other ones to stay green, then we can also change that here. We can say, I mean, we can just duplicate it, have it go back. We can have it go black, maybe black, maybe white. It's up to you. But basically, this is, again, just one way. There's a lot of ways, and there's more efficient ways that I'm probably not even thinking of right now because I'm doing this kind of just super quick without thinking. Um, I would want to do. Hold on, I'm trying to think of the efficient way. So if I were to go ahead and change this color, obviously I want the other colors to go back. Okay, so what we can do, because every time we put our hands in the trigger, um, we are going to execute an event, right? So what we can do is we can just set all the colors to black or white. We'll do black first, and we'll change it to white. So I'm setting all the colors to black every time my hand goes in the trigger, and then in that same instance, we're gonna send one of the colors to green. I guess this would be the efficient way to do it. So we'll go ahead, stop the world, play the world. So right now they're all turned black, and A should turn green. All right, like that. And now if I touch it again, they'll all turn black, but B will also turn green, like that. So now we're scrolling through whichever one we're on. All right, if you want it to be white instead, then you just change the color to white. And then if you want it to be progressive, you would keep it how it was, where as you go through, they'll all turn green. And like I said, this is just like a quick demonstration, kind of just basing off of what you have to kind of get you to the finish line without doing a whole teaching. So here we go. There we go. So you scroll through, and that's it.